Well, hello. This is Vinney Chopra. Thank you for joining us today, Friday, 9:30. As you know, we do it live for you. It's a Vinney and Beau show. My partner Vinney is there, and we have a repeat guest back. Brother Mike is in. Mike Fritz is here. Today, we're going to be talking about real estate. As you know, this show is about real estate, mostly commercial real estate, syndications, investors, brokers, loans, all kind of things. So thank you for joining. Please let us know in the chat, where you're from, and please have some great questions so that we could answer. And I'm sure our guest Mike will also love to answer. Beau, how are you doing, brother?
Doing well. I guess it was the wear the black t-shirt day, and
right. I didn't plan that, man. I didn't plan. Got no memo. Vinny's usually got those awesome shirts from wherever he goes online to get those shirts. He's always out dressing all of us.
Bahamas, they are my specialist. Oh my gosh, I've been going on a shopping spree. Don't tell Kanchan. I bought 6 jackets in the last 2 weeks. Literally, Ralph Lauren jackets were on sale at Macy's online. 395 jackets for $69 and $79. I couldn't believe it. I had to buy them.
Love it.
You got your haircut too, Vinny. Looks good.
I did.
You look younger.
Sharp there, brother.
You look younger.
Beau and I'm about to go to the same barber as Beau goes to. I'm getting pretty sparse upstairs. Beau's haircut's starting to look pretty good.
Good job. Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm really excited. I know for 1 year I've been clipping my own hair at home and everything, but now with 2 COVID shots, we are able to go. We went for a lunch also outside in a restaurant, which was nice, and doing things and all that. Thank you so much for joining again. This is Vinney Chopra, your host and co-host right there, Beau Eckstein. Let me introduce Mike Fritz. Mike is going to give nuggets today. Fritz is the founder and CEO of Titanium Capital Investments. And Mike and his team have acquired $4 million in assets in the last 12 months. I know during COVID, a lot of people said, oh, nothing is going to happen. Let me wait for COVID to, finish and all that. But he's a doer. He's a go-getter. In 2020, Mike was able to raise $6 million in 6 months, only in 6 months, and is on track to acquire over $20 million in real estate in 2021. 20 million. Mike's greatest passion is helping people create freedom through real estate and also privilege of coaching many students. Actually, I was a guest speaker at one of your coaching sessions. I remember, Mike, many students to bust into the multifamily game. This is the right time, guys. I started 14 years back or so, and from a duplex and now to 4,500 units. So this is the perfect time to get into real estate, and especially multifamily game, and start earning passive income. Welcome, Mike. How are you doing, brother?
Oh, it's so good to be here. I always love hanging out with both of you. Both of you are such great inspirations to me. I love Vinny. Obviously, you're such an amazing practitioner. I've learned so much from you over the years. I met you just almost a year ago to the day. And it's absolutely changed my life. So I appreciate you greatly. And of course, Beau, our relationship has continued to grow and do business together. And I'm truly thankful for you as well. So I love being here. I'm so honored, my friend.
That's very good. Very good. Please tell us about your humble being. I know you have been a coach. I mean, you had your own academy before, Success Coaching, which is, it's all in the mindset. Let's talk about a little bit about mindset. Yeah.
What I've realized is both real estate, anything in life will always hit the ceiling of your mindset. So you cannot be a $20 million investor with a $4 million mindset. You can't be $1 million investor with a $25,000 mindset. It just doesn't happen. And in fact, what you'll realize when you start meeting with investors will actually invest to your mindset. If you ever wonder why you're getting $50,000 investors and not $250,000 investors, it's because you have a $50,000 investor mindset. And that's why they will actually adjust to your parameters inside your head. It's amazing. Investors can feel how much they should trust you with, and they feel how much they should trust you with based on how well you trust yourself and where your mindset's at. And so for me, I knew when I wanted to go to the next level, there's a couple things that I do. What I did to get to that next level. Because when I started my first project, like you mentioned, Vinny, was a little duplex. I actually built it when I was 19 years old. I built a duplex and lived in half. And my wife and I got married at 20, and we lived for $100 a month. That was my first multifamily deal. So what's it like? I started just with millions of dollars in deals. That just didn't happen, and with most people doesn't. Yeah. And so, but yeah, I believe mindset is it's not a key, it's actually the key. And here's one of the things I've realized. Vinny, you've got an academy where you coach people. I coach people. Beau he works with all of our coaching clients. I shoot everybody to Beau because Beau knows more about lending than anybody I know. Yeah. And but here's one of the things that I've realized. People that the higher up and more successful people go, the less they spend on strategy coaches and the more they spend on mindset coaches. Mm-hmm. Like you go up, the higher up you go, people are dumping money. And this is one of the things I've realized. What is the difference between a CEO of a multi-million-dollar company and somebody who's struggling? And it's how much they invest into their brain. Mm-hmm.
So true. Like an accountability partner too. I think I totally see what you're saying, because it's one thing we make decisions, it's one thing that we have visions, it's one thing we have dreams, it's one thing we write down all these goals, but then we need a partner, an accountability partner, other than your spouse, who can get a stick out behind you and follow and say, "Did you do it?"
Yeah,
isn't that right?
Totally.
And also too, you got to move the needle each day, right? Like for example, there'll be like something that comes up. Like right now I'm really focused on creating content for my YouTube channel. Yeah. And it's like, okay, how do I get the YouTube channel performing better and better and better, so more people find me, more people want financing, whatever. And then it's like, as soon as I have an idea or I get some action item, like for example, I said, okay, when I invite a guest, wouldn't it be cool if the guest could just go to a link on my website and see what the show is all about and get all the whole story there instead of sending an email? So I drew out what I wanted the landing page to look like, send it to my team, they create it. Now all I have to do, instead of recreating the wheel, is just send, hey, I'd like you to have one introductory email, go to this link, and they can do everything right there. They can book to be a guest on the show. And so there's so many tools like that to like kind of make your life easier and better. Like you could take the same strategies to finding deals, to bringing in investors for your deals, right? Like that's what I'm really working on in 2021. And I'm just curious, Mike, like what are you working on to move the needle? What are you doing? Yeah,
great question. So we're doing. So we have two legs to our company. We have Titanium Capital and Power Up Real Estate. Power Up Real Estate is our coaching side. That's where we're helping people invest in real estate. Titanium Capital is where we obviously invest investors' money into primarily multifamily real estate. So on both of those sides, it's a little bit different. But 2021, we have Power Up Real Estate. Our goal is to help 10,000 people acquire a piece of multifamily real estate. Wow. And so to reach that 10,000 number, we're going to have to bring hundreds of coaching clients in per year to be able to reach that goal. So we're working a lot on as well on our YouTube channel. We put out a brand new video every single weekday on our YouTube channel, every single weekday. Wow. So 20 a month, so that people we want to flood the market with content, because if we're going to help 10,000 people, we got to really get there. So on our coaching side, it's also content development. Beau, I totally resonate with what you're doing there. We're trying to get as much content in the market as possible and get as many people into our 10-week program and helping them really get that piece of multifamily in 70 days or less. The reason that our program, by the way, and I'll finish the question in a minute, is 10 weeks is when I hired a mentor, which was Vinney Chopra. 71 days it took me to go under contract on a piece of multifamily, 71 days. And so when you think it takes forever, that's again a mindset issue. It's a mindset issue again, right? Who's going to give me money? Well, if Robert Kiyosaki told us, don't ask that, ask how can I get money, right? How can I afford it? Not why can't I? And it's the same thing. So for us, we're developing content, but on our real estate side, we're acquiring deals as fast as we can. We just went under contract on a $1.5 million deal in the Midwest, a 32 unit in South Bend, where Beau, I know you and I both own property. And And then we went under contract in a 98 unit just outside of Houston, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So in the last 12 months, here's where we're shifting in 2021. Last 12 months, we did $4.5 million in real estate. This deal was $4.5 million. So our goal is to take that next step where it stretches us and gets us outside of a $50,000 investor network into a $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 investor network. And what really is encouraging for like this $4.5 million deal, we have 3 investors that are over 300,000. That means our network is scaling to stronger investors, stronger people. So in 2021, our goal is to acquire 20 million plus in real estate. That's what we're working on. But I'll tell you this, I had to have somebody like Vinney, somebody like Beau that are playing at a level that Mike wasn't playing at to be able to get to that, to be able to even think I could do that level. And I think that's the old network equals net worth. Well, network also equals mind worth. It will dictate how much your mindset is worth based on who you hang out with, right? And so that's what I'm working on this year.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you're so true, Mike, because if you look at like Vinney, he's not like a superhuman being, right? But what he does well is he's very motivating. He's on top of everything. And that kind of radiates, right? Like, and he doesn't think small; he thinks huge, right?
Right.
And so that's what is the game changer for most people. And I hate to say most people, but a lot of people do think too small, and they're never going to get out of that small thinking. Vinney, somehow, the way he was brought up, or something in his life clicked, where he said, "Okay, I'm going to think big," right? And then he thought, keeps on thinking bigger and bigger and bigger, and now. His message 5 years ago was I was going to acquire X amount of real estate. Now I'm going to build $2 billion of real estate in the next 10 years. So it's that he's moving the needle, he's moving the mindset. And I often, and I'm not perfect by any means, and I often catch myself thinking small. And that's if you're thinking small, you'll never move the needle where you want to go.
True. Dan Kennedy, which I believe Dan Kennedy is one of the smartest marketers in the world. In fact, Tony Robbins, Brendon Burchard, all these great marketers, they all learned from Dan. Dan Kennedy's brilliant. Dan Kennedy used to say, the way to grow your mindset is to be the dumbest person in every room. And his whole point was you have to get into rooms where everybody else makes you feel like a little ant. And I know that seems negative. It's not. It's not that way. Because when you get into rooms, they're the most beautiful and amazing people in the world, those big thinkers. And but you want to be in rooms that make you feel like, man, I could be playing at a bigger level. And you almost want your complacency challenged by your network.
I love it. I totally love it. And thank you, Nadine, for sharing your comments. And thank you, gentlemen. And then don't fear the zeros. Something just struck me right away. My coach, who I paid $35,000, by the way, 14 years back, he said, Vinney, transaction is a transaction is a transaction. It's just extra zeros on the right side.
That's right.
Don't fear it. So what Nadine is saying is so right. Don't fear the zeros. Don't put the zeros on the left side. Put them on the right side.
Well, and it's funny because I remember you told me this, Vinney. You still have to get a loan. Yeah. You still have to do due diligence. You still have to have an appraisal. You still have to do an inspection. You still have to do a site visit. You still have to raise. So if you have to do all that stuff, you might as well do it in a property that's going to really yield some scale and growth.
For sure. And, that's what has really helped me. I mean, thanks to my, all the coaches who taught me. And of course, my books, I was going to say W.J. Schwartz, that book is lying right there. Magic of Thinking Big.
Oh, great book.
43 years back, guys. 43 years back. I have that book on my desk right over there. I even write the date on the book. I write the date when I buy that or somebody.
Oh, yeah.
So I have it over there. But that has totally shifted my mind many years back. But of course, we are all product of what we read, what we listen, but then we need to implement it. See, that's the problem I find. A lot of us read a lot of us listen a lot, but then we don't pin it down in our own, get out of comfort zone. That's the
right. Yeah, absolutely. And I think for most people are at the start or scale phase, right? Those are the two main phases. Either they need to get going or they need to go bigger. And no matter where they're at, there's a barrier in that mind of either starting or going bigger. And that barrier is what needs to shift, right?
Sure.
And but what's interesting, whether you want to start or scale, the focuses are still the same. You got to find deals and you got to find money. You got to find deals and you got to find money. If you want to get started, you got to find deals. You got to find money. You want to go from a $4 million deal to a $30 million deal, you got to find deals. You got to find money. Now, if you're going to go up to that next level, you might have to bring on extra sponsors. They have a little bit more experience or whatever. But the truth of the matter is, you got to find deals. You got to find money. Multifamily for me, what I realized when I started to grow is, it's really simply focusing on two things and stop being rabbit trailed by everything, right? It's just find deals, find money, find deals, find money. And if you keep focused, that's why the whole tagline of our Power Real Estate is find deals, find money, because it really is where I want people focusing. If you want that first deal, there's so many things that you focus on instead of those two things. And that's what really just exponentially grows investors. And you're one of the best at that I've ever seen, Vinney. One of the best practitioners in the industry. I don't just say that. I mean, one of the best strategic and precise practitioners of one of the best underwriters out there, but also one of the best deal finders and deal navigators. And that all happens because you focus on two things: find deals, find money, right?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mike. I totally believe that what you're just saying is so powerful. People feel that, hey, syndication is the world. A lot of people say, I don't want to be a syndicator. I say, you are just losing so much money. You're putting it on the table. Syndication, a lot of people think it's going to cost me $20,000 to get paperwork done. I can tell you, you can get it for $7,000, $5,000. There are syndication attorneys who will do it for you. The other part is they say, oh my gosh, you know what? There is no money flowing around me. $31 trillion in the retirement funds is flowing all around us, But you're right. I think the biggest thing is to find great deal. But what has really impressed with you, Mike, I want you to kind of embellish that. You find the money first.
Yeah.
Then you find out where they would like you to find the deal. And you find the deal and it's done.
So I started off. So my first deal that I went under contract under you you and I met each other last March, and you were giving me some ideas on what to do. And my first deal, I went under contract. It was a little $700,000 deal. I had to raise about $200,000 to get into that deal. And I did a JV, and we each put in $50,000, and we brought down that deal. And but I had never raised money before. And I put that under contract before I had any money raised. And there was so many sleepless nights that I'm like, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to raise this money? Can I do this? What's going to happen? Of course, it's my mindset. It needed to shift. I'll own that. But then I realized, what if I went and talked to investors and sold them on me and multifamily? Because a lot of people feel like, man, if I don't have a deal, investors not going to say yes. I'm like, I've actually found that is not true. I've actually have investors that'll wait for me to find a deal because they trust me and they trust multifamily. So if I sell them on the asset and sell them on me, and they know I'm working heavily. So what I do is I go out and I'm raising money all the time. I'm never not raising money, as you know, Vinney. We're never not raising money, right? So I go and I'm raising money, raising capital. But then I also talk to my investors. I learned this from the wholesaling world. And I don't know if anybody's ever heard that term, wholesaling, where you find an off-market deal and you assign that contract to a seller and you charge something for the middle fee, right? It's a few $1,000s. Well, there's a process called reverse wholesaling, where you go and you find the buyer, then you go and find the kind of house they're looking to acquire.
Right.
Well, I thought, what if I did that in syndication? I'll go raise the money and say, hey, what kind of projects are you looking for? Heavy lifts, cash flow, big appreciation. What are you looking for? Are you having closer to retirement? You want more like strategy play, a little bit more high risk, low risk? What do you want? And then I'll take that and I'll shift it over and I'll go find the deal that fits their investment needs. Because here's the thing. If they know I've built an investor profile for them. Okay, I know who you are. I know what you're looking. I'm going to go find a deal that fits you. Well, then it separates me from other syndicators, because other syndicators are just raising and do you want in. But they know I'm strategically looking for them, so they hold on to their money for a bit until I find a deal that fits them.
I love it. That's amazing. Share with us some more things, Mike. How is your day go by? Like, you are full-time real estate professional. and also what kind of apps you use and what the tricks of the trade. Maybe our audience would love that, right?
Yeah. So my day is usually I wake up and I try to separate my day. Literally, I think about this every day. I have three major roles in my companies: it's content, finding deals, and finding money. Content is on our Power Up Real Estate side. I need to be developing content or outlining content for upcoming video shoot days. And so, because our YouTube channel is, we're shooting putting a video out every day. I actually have one day a month where I shoot 20 videos in a day. And then that's my month's content, right? So I only spend.
You do like script writing and all, or you just
So I lay out 20 video outlines. I find out what videos are out there that are hot, and I go 20 video outlines. I lay them out. Then I lay out one day and I shoot 20 videos. Now what I'm doing is every other month I take 2 days, shoot 20 videos each day, and now I have 2 months of content.
Got it.
2 days.
Got it.
And so that's one thing but then I'm also thinking on, okay, I connect with my broker. So each day I look at my broker list. I'll haven't reached out to my Atlanta broker this week. Hey, so-and-so, how you doing? Any deals shaking loose? Okay, no. All right. Keep me posted. I'll go to my, Houston broker, and then I'll go up to my Midwestern broker, and I'll hit my brokers. I'll also hit my investors. So my day, I try to structure as much of my day really around deals and money. Now, the apps that I'm using and some of the softwares I'm using, I'll be perfectly honest. I'm kind of an old school guy. I still use a paper calendar. So I'm not a real big software guy. Now we have our CRMs with Active Campaign and our funnels and click funnels and all kinds of stuff that make sure our investors are tagged. So we send emails to our investors and make sure they're up to date on everything that's going on with properties and all that kinds of stuff. But our apps are very, we use, for all online landing pages and stuff, even for investor funnels that we're raising money through investor funnels. We use ClickFunnels. We use Active Campaign. We use a little connector software called Zapier or Zapier. So it talks to each of them. We have a little bit of a LinkedIn called Connect with a K, LinkedIn, and it's an automated service that will reach out to people automated through LinkedIn, and you can build a profile. So if you want to section off a niche and say, hey, I'm raising private capital for, especially you have to be careful raising money, but if you're doing C-fund deals or something like that, you can reach out to people, say, I'm a syndicator. I invest in multifamily. If you'd love to have a conversation, you can do that automated. So we use an automated service through LinkedIn that connects with people through that. And so we use a couple. So those are the kind of the main things: is Active Campaign, ClickFunnels, Zapier. Of course, we use Zoom and Zoom webinars for our webinars, and then Connected for LinkedIn. So those are some of the tools we're using. But let me tell you something about tools. Tools often can, again, suck lots of time out when really you should be calling up a broker with the good old-fashioned phone and asking them if they have any phone off-market listings. Or calling up a buddy that just invested with you and said, hey, we're having a great deal. Do you have anybody else who might be interested in an awesome opportunity? The good old-fashioned phone builds a heck of a lot of businesses.
It's the best of the best of the best. What you just said is so true. So much time throughout the day we spend in little piddly things, right? I mean, I say priorities of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I to Z.
Yeah, right.
Fine into the Z's, and then we worry, I don't find time for A and B, which is brokers and investors, finding money, finding deal. That's
exactly right.
Equity. I mean, that's where the main ROT is: return on time, return on investment. So no, that is so true what you just said. And I did some, many years back, I did like a study of my whole 10-hour day, right? And I found out only 1.5 hour in the 10 hours, I really spent time with my clients on talking or things like that.
Yeah.
I would love for people to really, really do that, and see. Built everything off my phone. Nadine is talking. They didn't tell us, where are you from? Are you from Florida, California? From where? I would love to see. We are trying to look into going through Zoom, live in Facebook as well as into YouTube. We are looking into that system because I like to interact with people. so that we could
Sure.
bring them into the podium and let them speak and things like that, which actually Clubhouse
Florida.
is doing by audio. I want to do it video. I'm a
Yeah.
touchy-feely person, you know.
Yeah. So the way to do,
I thought she might be in Florida. There we go. Look at that.
Yeah, we could do that if you sent out the Zoom link or to join as a viewer, and then also went live, so you could have people that want to be,
Yes.
and we could bring them up that way.
Yep.
That's what
Totally.
we are doing. Yeah, that's what I want to do it. Oh, thank you, Nadine. We appreciate
Thank you, Nadine.
I know you are a big seller. You know, text me, Nadine, if you will. And let's chat a little bit. Here's closing $80 million deal, $340 million deal. Excellent. Congratulations
Love it.
to you.
It's awesome.
We are building assisted senior living in 8 locations now. 8 locations in Florida right now. I just bought $52 million deal in Orlando, then 35 million Melbourne. So maybe we can chat. But let's talk about some more things. You know, the key thing is that it's all about when we set our mind to get some things done, we need to have the burning desire to achieving it.
Totally.
I mean, you know, we always make so many decisions in our life, but we are not committed to it. So,
Totally.
Mike, tell us more about that, man. Why?
Well, I can tell you too. I can tell you one of the things as we were talking just a minute about setting up your day. You know, your day reflects your desire, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you, I'll just not to step on any toes, but let's be honest. We spend way too much time scrolling Facebook and not enough time scrolling deals, right? And so, I mean, if we could just be honest, and me included, I'm not even excluding myself from that discussion. I'm stepping on my own toes here. And but I can also say I've learned a lot of this from Beau. Beau and I've talked about this. You have to do your high value tasks, right? And so like for example, one of the things I remember Jim Collins saying in Good to Great when he surveyed all these CEOs, which by the way, great book. If you haven't read Good to Great, read it. It's a classic.
Which one?
Good to Great by Jim Collins.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah,
I read
Good to Great. But he
back.
said one of the differences of high level CEOs is how few tasks they do. The higher level CEOs, they do less things, but they do those things they do more often and with more precision.
Yes.
And so the higher value the leader is, the less the shorter their task list is, and the more high value those tasks they do are. And if you want to grow, that's how we have to do. We have to limit it down. That's why I say content, deals, money. I try to limit everything I know, and I try to push off everything else that and in my company as we're growing, I am doing a lot of things that I don't want to do that we're phasing me out of. And when you launch, you do. You're the janitor. You're the speaker. You're the everything. I get it.
I remember, buddy, 14 years back, I did everything, and my other
for sure we do. Yeah.
Right. You know. Yeah.
No. But again, back to as Beau has taught me, and a lot of the way he sets up his business, and we don't. A lot of the things, yes, you have to do when you're first starting off, you have to do all the tasks of your business. But I have learned there's a lot of tasks that we think we have to do that we don't have to do. There's a lot of things that we think are high value that really don't add lots of value when we really boil it down to what's really offering value to our investors, to our company, and depending on what kind of business you're in. And I mean, assuming it's a syndicator or if you're raising money or whatever, but yeah, it's one of those things, man. If we could just get all that junk off our calendar, it frees up time to go deeper on the things that will really spike up that value.
Anybody that's in some kind of sales role, like if you're a multifamily investor syndicator, you're a media agency / sales company.
Yeah.
If you're a commercial loan broker, you're a sales company. If you're an insurance broker, you're a sales company.
Yeah.
You need to focus on the 20% of your day that's the money-making activities. That should be 80% of your day.
Yep.
The problem is, you're right, everything kind of rolls back to that. If you just take those 3 tasks and put everything else in the, and delegate the other junk, that is not going to bring revenue in the door. Your probability for success just skyrocketed. Too many people spend time doing things that are not moving the needle. I'm included. So like, what are your top tasks, right? Finding deals, raising money, and content for, potential new deals. That's all you should focus on. Everything else that goes around that should be delegated to some sort of an assistant, whether a virtual assistant. If people would just do that, and I'm talking to myself, so listen, Beau, That's right. That's
And listen, Vinod, right?
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
really the secret of it all. But you know what?
Yeah.
You know what I want to throw out there is that we should do is, because Vinney, it's common theme we keep on talking about on these shows,
Yes.
is we need to start a book club, because books and education are the kind of seed to that, you know, that's where you spend time, right? It's the getting the idea and then implementing, right? Like that's so if we want to spread our wings more, maybe a book club. I don't know if you'd be interested in doing that, Mike and Vinney, but I think
Totally.
you know, like how do we do that? Get people involved and taking a good book and then, you know, going through the book and highlighting the action items and implementing those action items and talking about it.
Dude, I just got interviewed from Nomad. Remember one of our speaker came guest. He just interviewed me. He's got the book club or something.
Book thinkers.
Huh?
Book thinkers.
Book thinkers. Right. Maybe we could do some affiliate program. I do want to say before we wrap up again, Mike, how people can, you know, reach you. I also wanted to talk about Passive Wealth Symposium that we are putting together, my partners and I. Next, it's tomorrow and Sunday. We have over 1,000 people registered already. Thank you. And we are very excited. We got the biggest lineup, you know, from Luke Wren, who is the right-hand person for Tony Robbins, opening up the whole, program. It's totally free. That's the exciting part. And it's going to be PassiveWealthSymposium.com. Please register so that you can get a link to the Zoom link. It's a webinar. Free, totally free. You could share the webinar linked with everybody. And then it's going to be 16 top speakers, 2 CPAs, one on Saturday tomorrow, one on Sunday for 1031 exchange personality, mobile homes. It's got loans. It's got syndication attorney. It's got everything mixed together. So it's good for the passive investors. That's what we are putting together. Just a little plug in there. So please go to PassiveWealthSymposium.com. That's our first annual. We're going to do it every year in March from this point forward. Mark, how can people reach you, bud?
Absolutely. So you can email me at mike@poweruprealestate.com. I'm a pretty down to boots on the ground guy, and I'll get back to you. I also have a free 60-minute training, just kind of walking through. If you go to freemultifamilymasterclass.com, get a free 60-minute training of the 5 shifts that need to happen to take a next step in multifamily real estate. And so those are 2 ways. Again, mike@poweruprealestate.com or freemultifamilymasterclass.com. And you guys get a free training.
I would love it. I hope, you know, those people watching us right now, thank you so much for joining. And I know a lot of people watch later on. And we also put this whole podcast, our live show, into a podcast also that goes into Beau's channel and my channel, you know, under the Syndication Made Easy. So thank you so much. Really appreciate you, brother. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for today. I appreciate you guys. And let me know if I can ever do anything for you too. I appreciate you both.
Thank you. Thank you, Beau, buddy. All righty. We'll see you next week, Friday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific. Bye-bye.